KEET TV presents Homework Hotline, the after-school show that fuses learning with fun. Watch local teachers bring the classroom on air and online. This is Homework Hotline.
Welcome to Homework Hotline. My name's Pam Halstead, and I taught science at Fortuna High School.
And my name's Ken Pinkerton, and I taught science at Zane Middle School.
I could not be more excited about this show, actually. I mean, really, seriously, it's something I've thought of and dreamed of for so long because conifers, who doesn't, we live in an area that has just multitudes of them.
Right.
And then I have a friend this is dedicated to, actually two friends, doctors, they're married. Jennifer Silvera and Flickinger, they did their doctorate on forest ecosystems
cool.
and wetland ecosystems. And so both of them, Flick did his in India and Jennifer did hers in Florida on the Everglades.
Oh, very cool.
So it's very cool. And you know what they did? They sent me, I said, hey, Conifer, there are so many where they live, which we'll find out in a minute, but they sent us an entire box of lots of cones.
Nice.
So it should be
Very
great.
cool.
What we have sitting right here is a pile of conifer branches.
Right.
And so Ken,
Now, why are they called conifers?
I know, well, let's think about that. Actually, conifer, if you break it down, cone bearing, to have cones.
Right.
So
Well,
that's
very
pretty
good.
neat, and
So-
that's how reproduction happens for these guys.
Right.
So your job in this case is to place it in one of these piles.
Okay.
So we do have conifers here, some names of them.
Okay, so pines, firs, spruce,
Okay.
redwood, and cedars and yews.
We didn't have very
Okay.
many of those, so.
Well, this one I know.
Yes,
That's where I grew up. That's I'm pretty
Monterey?
sure is a Monterey pine.
nice.
Yeah, it's got the very offset.
Oh, yeah.
one, and it doesn't,
like its
doesn't
cones.
open very well.
This is not a native to here, but we have lots of them here.
They do really well. So,
Yes.
And they're called Pinus Radiata, and you can spot them a mile away because all the branches are always in
neat.
radials. So this one is, which we want. We got some hitchhikers there.
Oh, yeah.
That's Doug fir, right?
Yes, indeed.
So we'll put this in the
Place it in the fir.
fir
It's not really a
pile.
true fir, but we won't go into that, so
Okay.
don't worry about it.
This one, I'm pretty sure that looks like a redwood to me. Is it?
Yes, and I was in Sequoia Park, and this thing, look at the needles. This
nice.
is the redwood needles way up high on the tree.
Oh.
So what's cool is that's where these cones are, and it shocks people when they see the tallest tree in the world.
With the tiniest
It's teeny
cones.
weeny. This is a
Right.
coast redwood, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so that goes in the redwood pile.
that's the redwood pile.
Okay, and this one, I think this one has got really short, spiky, peggy things. I think that's a
Yes.
spruce.
It is. It's a
Okay.
Sitka spruce as far as I
Very
know.
cool.
Nice.
And this looks like, is this the same one? But
I think so, but we had some other
Okay.
things going on.
okay,
Not
and
this
then
one.
that one that's a pine.
Yes, it
And
is
you
a
said
pine.
that's a beach pine.
I
you
did,
said.
yeah.
And now is that native to here?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
It's got really strong,
Thick.
thick things.
Sharp.
So if you live at the beach,
Yes.
it's a good thing to be heavy,
Yeah.
very heavy. So I'll put that down.
All right, so here we go.
And then that one, it's very flat, so I would guess that goes into the cedar
It
column.
does. All right, very nice. So we have them all basically laid out into
Right.
what group they belong to. So let's take a look though at just conifers in general. Here's the tallest to a much shorter one, from a coast redwood to an Italian cypress. And there's some cones because they all have cones. If we move on, let's take a look at their characteristics. Now, if we were just to look at them without going to the characteristics, what would you say are characteristics
I would
of?
say that they have heavy, compact leaves. That it doesn't look like it looks like they're evergreens. They're not going to lose their leaves. They're not deciduous. They have cones.
Yes, yay. Yes.
And then.
What about the stem part?
And then it's kind of a nice heavy stem.
As far
It's
as
scaled.
plants go,
Yeah, and it's woody.
yes,
Right.
woody stems. Okay,
very
so
cool.
let's see how Ken did, actually.
Okay.
So they are woody plants. They're either trees or shrubs or bushes. You can kind of, shrubs, bushes,
Right.
interchangeable. Then also, their leaves are needles or scales. So the cedar's a good example of having scale leaves,
Right.
which is flattened, like you said. And then these sharp or long
Right.
are needles, known as needles.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is with evergreen, with some exceptions. There are three different groups of or species of conifer that are deciduous, which means they lose their leaves.
Oh, right.
Yeah, even though they have needles and stuff. And then about the cones, we have female and male cones. A lot of times, and most of the time, the male cones are lower on the tree than are the female cones. And so what a tree kind of wants, which means it's set up to make happen, is it wants the pollen from another plant to land on the female cone. So we have an example. Let's see, there's a nice picture of male, female. And then reproduction. The female cones are also known as seed cones. So let's use, what's one where we have both?
That
think,
one's opening,
with the
that one's got that's
yes,
the little
we
males.
totally do right here on this Doug fir. Okay, so the pollen comes out right here of these little male cones, and so these are pollen cones, and then right near Ken's hand is a seed cone. So the seeds are found in the spaces in between the cone. Yeah, which are known as scales. The scales of the cone.
Scales of the cone.
What goes out at the beginning are called bracts, and it's okay. That's just like a covering for the
And then
scales.
these are some seeds that we shook out of the. So these, if you're a fan of the oak or no maples.
Yes, the maples.
So these have the same thing. They have a big. That's
wing.
the seed and a wing on them. And if you're lucky, which we shouldn't have practiced.
I know.
I'm gonna
It's
throw
all right.
them up.
It's all right.
Oh,
yay!
there, that one did it.
Like a whirly gig.
Yeah, so they come down slowly and not right underneath the tree.
And the wind can take them
a long ways away.
Yeah,
so
away from the parent tree, which might be
and
advantageous.
If you, like around my neighborhood especially, the squirrels love these. And
Oh, yes.
So the squirrels are spreading them all over the place too.
Super,
So.
Oh yeah, no kidding. That's very good.
So.
All right, so this is one of the deciduous trees. This is in my backyard. It's a dawn redwood.
Oh, I love them.
I know, they're so lovely. And in the fall, it literally goes, it has no leaves anymore.
Looks like they're dead. So right outside the city hall in Eureka, there's a giant one.
Wait, and also Fortuna in Florida Park.
In the park, and there's several actually.
Oh
in
my
the
gosh,
park. So
they get
right
quite
by
large.
the bathrooms. There's some. They planted like 6 of them.
They're native to China.
Yeah,
So there's
just a
3
wonderful
species
tree.
of redwood. Okay, let's keep going.
And they're very silky. You think that they're going to be scaly like these, but they're really a
really
nice
soft,
texture.
really soft. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's look at the classification, and there are more than these families, but the ones we're going to look at the pine family, which includes those particular. So the pine, the fir, the cedar. I mean, the pine family, they really threw a lot of different conifers in there.
Right.
Lots. Okay, then
It's
the
before there
cypress.
was
Yeah, maybe.
the splitters, the lumpers.
Right, the
were
lumpers
in
and splitters
power.
when it comes to classification, true. This is the cypress family, which the redwoods are a part of, and cypress and juniper, which we don't have any examples of, but they're all there. There's an example of them there. And the yew family, which is a particularly interesting tree, which we'll see at the end, a branch from that.
Oh, neat.
And there's a picture. One of the interesting things about this is that it has a little fruit in the female cone that an animal would eat and disperse. We don't see it here, but they'll take it and fly away and poop out the seed. You got it. So
and then there's a important.
Yes, there is. We won't see it yet.
Okay. Sorry.
We will. We totally will. No, there is an important chemical.
Yes.
Okay, adaptations. Okay, what is it that makes conifers so great? They do so well in our areas.
Right.
They do well in California, in Oregon, in Washington, in British Columbia, all the way up through Canada.
Right. And that's an extreme amount, from very, very, very warm, hot places to very, very cold places.
Yes.
So they're a pretty amazing, versatile tree.
Well, just having needles on you all the time means you can photosynthesize.
Oh, that's
all
right.
the time.
All the time, right?
365 days, of photosynthesis. Even though your leaves aren't as efficient as doing, you have so many of them, so they're doing really good. Then
very cool.
There's a nice picture of photosynthesis year-round with these guys. And then their shape. These needles are much smaller than big leaves, so it's a lot easier for the tree to maintain them because they don't have to put as much energy in maintaining them. And also, they're tiny, which means they're less likely to freeze, and they're full of rosin, which is a kind of sap, which acts like antifreeze.
Oh, nice.
So they do much better in colder climates.
Right, very cool.
Right.
Nice.
And then the shape of the tree is usually, depends, but sort
Like
of
a cone.
pyramid, like a cone, exactly. So if it does snow, it's less likely that the branches will fall off. And a lot of times the branches are pointed downward, so the snow sloughs off.
Slide right out of them, definitely so.
There's a nice picture.
And sometimes if you in a
not
big
yet.
windstorm, you can see them, especially at this time of the year when they're pollinating, you get these, you can see them almost creating a gyre around the tree where it disperses the pollen really well too.
Yes,
So
that's true. They're really good at, they're wind pollinated also. They don't depend on insects. So, which is good because in some cold areas, it's really difficult for a bee to fly around when, you know,
it's high altitudes, it just doesn't work.
negative 20 degrees, yeah.
Or you hit the shade and just
yeah, it's not going to work at all.
Right.
Also, what happens in our areas are fire. And fire is an important, actually, component or part of an ecosystem. And we have suppressed them for a long period of time, which is not good, and that's part of the reason why we are having more fire problems, because
fires.
we have a lot of vegetation, whereas normally it would be burned out. Well, anyway, these guys are, think of a redwood, how thick the bark is, crazy thick, and a lot of these have really thick bark, helps them to avoid getting burned up. Then some of them, which we're going to see, have cones that open up during when it's fire, or the fire creates the kind of soil and conditions that make it really great for
the new ones.
For the new ones, for the seeds, yeah. And you'll see some plants that are like that. So the next bit we're going to be seeing, which I'm excited about. Oh, here's the life cycle. So we don't too much have to worry about the fancy words like sporophyte and gametophyte and things like that. But you can just basically see there's the big tree on the top. Then there's male and female cones. The pollen lands on the egg inside the seed cone, which is here.
That's right.
Yes. So the pollen from some other lands right in between here and what Ken showed on that one, which opened up right in the section here. And once that, and they're, by the way, not opened up this big when this is happening. And they're just the little crack, because otherwise, woo, there it goes. Then the actually egg and pollen come together to make a seed, and the seed develops, and that's what the squirrels love, yes, and other organisms as well.
Yeah.
Birds. So, cone, real important. It's a great thing to have.
They are.
To be able to.
So.
Right. They don't have flowers. That's the thing. Most plants we think of and we love and we eat and all that kind of thing are flowering plants. This is like the flower, kind of in a way, of the plant, the conifer.
Right. That's where the seeds come from.
Yes.
So it's the fruit of the plant, right?
Yes, absolutely. So my friends, Jennifer and Flick, live in this county, which is northeast of us. It's called Siskiyou County. And they live specifically in a town called Wairika. Not Eureka, but Wairika, which is kind of cool. And what a beautiful place. Mountains and lakes and incredible trails. People go camping there all the time.
Nice.
And then this is a lovely lake that my parents used to visit this area in the summer when I was a kid. Like we'd spend a couple weeks there, and we lived in a cabin. And so every time I go there, it's just the smell of the, you know, the conifer smell, which is, or pines, just blows me away.
Yeah.
This is one of the duck lakes, either little or big duck lake, and just, it's really scenic. Trout could be in there. It's great. Okay, so this is where we got the following cones.
Okay.
Ken is going to bring the first one.
Do you want me to consolidate these, or
Actually,
you want to leave them?
you know what? That might be a good idea if we just took these guys away. That's a great idea. Put them over here. We'll stick them on the ground over here. We don't care that much.
All right, cone number one.
Cool. Cone number one is a Ponderosa Pine cone. So, so here's the picture of the tree itself and its cone. And here's where you find Ponderosa Pine. Put your fingers on that, and what do you feel?
They're very spiky.
Spiky.
Yeah.
Because part of the scale is pointy and does not go inside. So when you feel it, that's one trick or clue that tells you it's a Ponderosa Pine. Yes. So they're actually found in more than California. You can see Oregon and all the way up Washington and over east, even in parts of Mexico.
Nice. So very successful plant.
Yes, very successful. And I think we're going to stick with pine. Okay. No problem. Sorry. The bark apparently smells like vanilla or butterscotch, and we got the sharp prickly.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
At a nice size too.
Very nice.
And then
size.
these are all open, so the seeds are all falling out.
Right. These are old cones. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The next is, we're getting a little bigger in size here. This is a Jeffrey pine, and the Jeffrey pine is found. Well, it's found in southern Oregon, and you can see what's that mountain range there?
The Cascades? Is it?
The Cascades are part of it, and yes, I think that's part of it. But I think we're talking about no, that whole thing I think is Sierra Nevada.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
I see. It's farther in.
Yeah, no, it's a little further in, but there's kind of an overlap in some cases. So this is found there, and it also smells the same. The bark smells the same as the Ponderosa Pine. I don't know if that does, but and then if you feel this, put your hand on that.
Yeah, not nearly as.
What's going on with the spikes?
Yeah, they're down.
They're
still
downward.
there, but they're
not nearly as.
Not nearly there. And do you think those are to try to prevent the spikes, maybe to keep a squirrel out, or?
You know, I don't know if it would prevent a squirrel, but you never know. It could be.
How hungry the squirrel is.
It definitely could be, yeah. If there's a desperate squirrel there, they might have some adaptation that prevent being stuck by that. But that's neat, and especially with that one.
Yeah.
That seems very defensive.
Definitely.
Cool.
So.
All right, nice.
Next one?
Our next one. Our next one is a sugar pine.
This is a show-off.
This is the tallest, oh my gosh, this is the tallest of the pines. And this cone is just glorious.
Oh, it's just
truly
wonderful.
glorious.
It should be like that, I guess.
Yeah, it should be like that, exactly.
Yeah.
And this doesn't have any of those spikes.
Right, not at all. It's much more flat. Rather than those are kind of curved and very much so.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a beautiful.
It is just a specimen, isn't it?
It is.
It's incredible. Well, if we keep talking about it, the pine cones are just like some of the biggest by far. And the needles are in, that's a cool thing. Needles are in groups of 5. That's not
cool.
true for this one, but this little thing I think is called a fascicle.
Right?
Yeah, which is where the needles come out of.
Right.
And then I just pulled one off, so I kind of cheated. But if you saw this as being 5, you would go, oh, look, it's the needles. They're a lot longer probably than this is. So, yeah, there's the needles. And so you can sometimes count 3 or 5, depending.
Right.
And then not found in higher elevations, found in less than 7,500 feet, which for us around here is super crazy high.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
over a mile
we're like
high,
just over sea level, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and where they're found is both Oregon and California as well. It looks like they're fairly. Oh my goodness, this is a really cool cone.
This is the 299 cone.
This is the 299 cone. You mean found on 299?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's so cool. This guy is the gray pine or the ghost pine. So you think there's some in?
I think.
Well, I think so, because look at our map.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you often see these along the road on 290. I believe it's this kind.
Wow, this seems like it might be a danger on the road.
Yes, I think so. Well, just if it fell on you.
Well, that or your
Not
car.
only do you have to dodge the rocks on 299.
And this one, feeling this
heavy.
one compared to that one.
Yeah. Oh, this is amazing.
This baby's dense.
Right.
Super, super heavy.
Yeah, this probably weighs, I would bet, less than a pound, and that's.
Put this on a scale, and you got a couple pounds
here. A couple pounds.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely so.
Yeah.
It's still really strong. I mean, these guys are not falling apart.
Right.
So.
And you know, I haven't been saying the scientific names, but notice something there, Ken. It says gray pine or ghost pine.
Right.
So if we're using common names, which we've discussed before, it's not very helpful if you're going to try to communicate to someone, like you said, in another country, in another place. They won't. They may have something called the ghost of the gray pine or something.
So it's a
Pinus sabiniana. It looks like sabiniana. Yeah. So Pinus is the genus name, and then sabiniana is a specific epithet, which means the whole thing. Pinus sabiniana is the species name.
Just for that.
Yeah.
That one.
Just for that.
And everybody around the world calls it that.
Yeah. Everybody who's ever studying it or doing whatever with it. That's it.
Yeah.
And this is cool. One other thing about the gray pine, it's only found in California. It's endemic to California.
Very cool.
Yeah. So when you say endemic as far as a creature or whatever, that means only found there.
Only found there. Very nice.
Like the Humboldt Bay owl
this is one of these, just to compare the seeds. I don't know who that fell out of, but this is the Monterey pine seed.
Monterey pine seed. And this one?
Yeah, and then that one is significantly different. And then these were important foodstuff for some of the native tribes too, is that they lived off of them, and they made baskets out of the long. I'm not sure which pine needles they used, but there's some gorgeous pine needle baskets.
That's neat, and I'll bet they ate pine nuts also as a good protein source.
That's a big seed.
That is.
You'd have to eat a lot of Monterey pine ones.
You would.
But this one's that's a good sized seed.
Yeah, that is. That looks like something you'd buy at the store.
It does. It looks
very
like
cool.
almost like a real pine nut.
Yes. All right, our next plant is the Western White Pine.
White pine, nice.
Yes.
And that has some real similarities with this fellow as far as
Oh yeah, the morphology or the shape
yeah,
of
the
it
shape
looks really
and
similar.
very flat.
It is flat, so the scales are flat on both of these.
Yeah.
The size difference is pretty
Big
significant.
difference.
Yeah.
This guy ate his Wheaties, but
Yeah,
and then
for
where
sure.
are these found then? So
Oh
this
yes, these are found. So we have in the Sierras and then up north. So yeah, it looks like Crescent City even, and then further inland, like where they live in Wairika. And then as you go through, it's kind of the mountain range. It looks like maybe Coast Range of Oregon, and then in
And then
in
way inland,
Washington,
too.
British Columbia, and even in Idaho.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And you can see where the dry areas are.
Yeah. Yes,
On
definitely.
those maps too.
Cool.
Are you ready for the next one?
We are ready for the next one.
All right. Now we've got the
Oh, neat. This is a lodgepole pine. And the unique thing about this is there's two different varieties of this. This is the Shasta variety, and there's a Rocky Mountain variety. And the Shasta and the Rocky Mountain, the cones open in fire conditions.
very
And if
cool.
they don't, in some cases, it also whatever the fire does to the ground, the seeds do really well.
Oh, very good.
And the plant. And also when you do burn something up, you're making more space for sun to come in.
Right.
And you're reducing competition.
Right.
So this is really unique in terms of, and basically a fire dependent
Right.
conifer.
Very cool. So and contorta is its species name. So
Pinus contorta. Yeah.
So it must twist and turn somehow.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Oh, this is very different.
Totally different than the other ones we've looked at, and yet similar, maybe, perhaps.
Two.
Here he is. Okay. To this one. Only in size, no,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, but
this
similarities.
is a redwood. This is a coast redwood,
Right.
and that is a giant sequoia redwood.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the largest tree in anywhere in
In
the
girth,
world,
right, in
worldwide.
height, right.
Yes, in girth and everything. And the height, though, the highest is about 250 feet, 350 feet for ours.
Right.
So ours aren't as girthy, but they are taller.
Right. Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
taller. So
that's so
That
neat.
is amazing. So,
Yeah.
And then small for such huge trees, small cones. I mean, they're not putting an incredible amount of energy into
No.
reproducing themselves.
Well, in
as
different
compared
ways,
to-
because a lot of them like sprout too.
Yeah,
So that's it.
that
That's
could be the
another thing
different-
that's pretty cool
Oh,
about redwoods that can happen.
So that's
redwoods
the
are over here.
gigantea.
Yes, the gigantea.
Okay, redwoods go there. Okay.
Oh, that's
And-
amazing. Yes, and so if you want to go to Sequoia National Park, that's the place to find them where they're native. They're not native. You can see and look at they're not native in
Right.
Wairika. Okay, we'll keep going.
I love these.
Oh, incense cedar. This is the most crazy, bizarre
Yeah.
cone. Oh my goodness.
They look like little. We used to call
They're
them.
little ballerinas. They're flying.
Yeah, they look like ballerinas
Yes.
or Sherlock Holmes hats.
Oh yes, Sherlock Holmes hat. That's awesome.
I like the ballerinas.
So
though.
cool.
That's
They're very neat. Cedars. You've seen
Cedars.
them. They have the flat needles. Okay, our next one is the red fir. And you can see this definitely Sierra Nevadas,
it
and
will.
this one is so fragile, and we're not going to handle it because, well, actually, let's handle it because why not? One other time do we have? Oh, it is. Feel it.
Yeah. Oh, incredibly
Yeah.
lightweight too.
Yes.
So not at all robust like.
No, definitely not. It disintegrates in the fall to release the winged seeds, so there's how it works for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the squirrels don't have to do the work.
No, they don't.
Self-destructs.
Let's go to the Christmas tree now, which is the
Okay.
next one, where it grows on.
This one?
Yes, this one is the white fir, and the white fir, if you take a look at this tree.
Oh,
A
that's
classic, a
gorgeous.
classic,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So this though it's a fir, right?
like
And
this.
looking
Yeah.
very similar to this other fir. Nice.
Very flat.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Onward
Okay.
then.
No,
To the
that's gonna
brewers,
go
also
first.
known as
Okay,
weeping
first.
spruce.
Okay. And then this one.
Yes.
Ooh.
So, no, Engelmann. I think, do we have a weeping spruce
That was
perhaps?
the weeping
oh, this was the
spruce. Yeah,
weeping
I'm
spruce.
sorry.
My
I
bad.
might
That was
have
my
jumped
bad.
ahead.
Sorry. I was going forward too fast. All right. So cool. This one is the Engelmann spruce. And what can we say? It looks. Oh no. Let's keep moving. Sorry, my bad. So I just got off slide a little bit. This one's the Engelmann Spruce, so this is found in the highest and coldest forested areas in the western United States.
Oh, wow.
So it's able to, this is a survivor.
Right, definitely so.
And the cones look very sprucey based on what we see here. They're kind of, they're papery compared to what we see here.
So
yes.
And this is a Picea.
Oh yes, that's right. So its genus name is Picea, Engelmannii. Yeah. Yes.
In honor of Engelmann somewhere.
In honor of Engelmann, who did name it, yes.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice.
And that's the spruce. So
that's the spruce,
here.
and again, pokey needles.
And I think we're down to...
Oh, this is such a neat plant. Is this our yew?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we do not have any female cones here because they don't actually come out until the fall. Yeah, so the males, these tiny little things are the male cones.
Right, and they make pollen, right?
Yes, they do. So they're hanging out waiting for the female, and she looks, actually in the slide we have a picture of her fruit, looks like a berry.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, there's a berry, and these are native to, look at, they're just inland of us.
Right.
Goes all the way up to British Columbia, Vancouver Island. But that's the thing that then is, unlike these that we're looking at here, seeds are dispersed, they may be dispersed, like you said, by a squirrel running around with it. But these are very specifically bird dispersed because it's a fruit and it gives nutrition to
bright red, so eat me.
Yeah, right, exactly. Either that or I'll poison you.
Right, yeah,
oh my gosh, in fact, that's the thing. Highly poisonous is what these have. Yes, it's Taxol. Yeah, so not to birds, not to the birds that eat them and survive, but to humans, you'd not eat this fruit. This is not edible, except they've taken, and now they don't have to kill yew trees anymore. They used to get it from the tree itself, but now they've manufactured it in the lab. So it's yes, it helps to cure cancer. It's part of chemotherapy.
Right. It's an important one for breast cancer.
Oh, is it really?
Especially.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
Wow, what an amazing group.
Wonderful friends you have.
I know, I do.
That's great.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, in fact, there they are. There's Jennifer.
Nice.
There's I went to school with her from middle school on, and I've known her that long, so it's awesome. There's Jennifer, there's
Silva means tree, so her last name is
very cool.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So.
Yay.
So that's
Thanks,
very
Jennifer
cool.
and Flick.
So go out and look for male and female cones. And a lot of times people don't realize, my students in the past, it's just like, there's no such thing as a male cone. It's always, or
my gosh,
they thought this was the only cone around, but and then if it hasn't happened already, if you brush against some of them, you just get a snowstorm of pollen.
Oh my goodness, big yellow cloud,
Yeah, beautiful clouds of it. So. Don't do it if you have allergies or your parents have allergies.
Right, no, definitely don't. If you have hay fever of any type, avoid doing that.
Yeah, so definitely get out there and look for those trees, and
they're a pretty wonderful tree.
And we live in an amazing place where the Sequoia Park and College of the Redwoods and Humboldt State have amazing collections all over campus.
The botanical garden
too. Labeled to botanical garden. So
College of the Redwoods. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Really appreciate it. Yay! Thank you.